如果你在聆听时不需要频繁暂停，就能理解大意，那么你的英语积累在日常表达中是完全够用的。我们开始吧。
By and large, you hear it today like it's nothing. But this small phrase once lived on a ship that cut through wild seas and nights so black sailors said the sky had swallowed the world. The story starts with a sound. Canvas snapping in heavy wind. Ropes groaning. Waves beating the hull like fists. A ship called the White Finch fighting to stay upright in the deep blue that had taken many others. On that ship was a boy named Aaron. Young, thin, fast on his feet. Always watching. Always learning. He had joined the crew to escape a town that felt too small for his heart. But he soon learned the sea had its own rules, and it did not care about any boy's dreams. The White Finch carried a crew of men who had spent years reading winds the way others read books. Their captain, Reed, was quiet and sharp. He spoke only when needed. He saw storms long before they showed themselves. Aaron admired him the way a spark admires a fire. On calm days, the ship glided over water like a slow-moving bird. The sun warmed the deck. Voices floated. Some men told tall tales. Some worked with steady hands. Some carved bits of wood to pass the time. But one thing kept returning to Aaron's ears. Whenever the wind shifted and the sails pulled in a new direction, the older sailors would shout to each other, "By and large, she holds steady." Or, "She fights us when we go by the wind, but she loves us when we go large." Aaron heard the words. He could repeat them. But he didn't understand them. Not yet. One evening, the sky turned the color of bruised metal. Waves rose. The wind changed again. But this time it wasn't a gentle push. It was a force. Hard. Sharp. It hit the sails so suddenly that the whole ship leaned like it wanted to fall into the sea. The ropes screamed. Men ran. Captain Reed stood firm, feet wide, and steady. He didn't shout. He didn't panic. He simply said, "Hold her by the wind. Keep her nose to it." Aaron watched the sailors fight the ropes. Their arms shook. The wind pulled strong. But slowly the ship straightened. Not calm, but steady. Aaron felt the deck tremble under him. He felt the wind slam into his chest. He realized then that the ship lived. It fought. It obeyed when handled right. It resisted when handled wrong. After hours of noise and cold spray, the storm softened like a giant sinking into sleep. The sky cracked open with faint light. Men caught their breath. Some laughed from relief. Some prayed. Aaron found Captain Reed standing alone near the bow. The captain looked out at the endless rolling dark. Aaron walked up, unsure if he should speak. But Reed noticed him. "You have a question," he said. Aaron nodded. "That thing the men shout. By and large. What does it mean?" Reed tapped the rail with his finger. "It means a ship that sails well both ways." Aaron waited. Reed pointed toward the wind. "When we go by the wind, we cut close to it. The bow faces it. The sails bite into it. It's hard, but it gives us control." He turned slightly. "When we go large, we let the wind hit us from behind. Wide. Easy. Strong. It pushes us forward with less fight." Then he looked down at Aaron. "A good ship handles both. A strong ship stays true no matter the wind. That's by and large." Aaron nodded slowly. He liked the sound of that. But the lesson didn't settle into his bones until the weeks that followed. The White Finch sailed into waters known for sudden storms. The crew grew quiet. They worked with more care. They tied knots stronger. They checked the sky often. One day, a thick fog rolled in. It came without a whisper. One minute the sea was open, the next it was a white wall. Men looked at each other. Everyone knew fog was worse than darkness. Darkness could be lit. Fog swallowed light. Captain Reed gave orders fast but calm. "Keep the pace slow. Listen for rocks. Watch the water. No shouting unless needed." Hours passed. The fog did not lift. The world felt small. Like the ship was trapped in a giant hand. Aaron stood near the rail, trying to listen the way the others did. Trying to sense danger in the water. But he heard nothing except the slow slap of waves. Suddenly, a sound cut through the fog. A deep grind. Wood on stone. The ship shook. Crew members grabbed ropes and rails. Aaron's heart jumped. "We're drifting too close." Someone yelled. Captain Reed ran to the wheel. His voice shot across the deck. "By the wind. Bring her by." Aaron saw sailors pull ropes with every bit of strength they had. The ship groaned. The fog hid everything. No one knew how close the rocks were. Then Reed shouted again. "Now large. Give her the wind wide." Another wave of motion ripped through the crew. Hands on ropes. Feet sliding. Voices rising. Aaron felt the shift. The sails filled. The ship turned. then pushed forward like something big had let go of its grip. The grinding stopped. The water smoothed. Breaths were released like arrows. They were safe. The fog thinned soon after. The sun cut through in weak lines. Land showed faint and far. The danger passed, but the lesson stayed. That night, Reed found Aaron sitting alone, still shaken but thoughtful. "You watched us switch," Reed said. Aaron nodded. "You went from one way to the other. Fast. Like you knew she would follow." Reed smiled a small, tired smile. "A ship won't always obey. But a well-built one, with a steady crew, will hold true. By and large." Aaron let the words sit with him. He thought about the wind that pushed. The wind that fought. The rocks they escaped. The way the ship bent but didn't break. Weeks passed. Months. The white finch saw calm seas and wild ones. The crew laughed. They argued. They worked. They slept in tight hammocks that rocked with the waves. Aaron grew stronger. He learned ropes faster. He read the clouds better. He felt the ship deep in his bones the way seasoned sailors did. And every time the wind shifted, he heard the old call again. By and large she holds. It stopped being just a phrase. It started to mean something about life itself. One night, long after they returned to calm waters, Aaron leaned on the rail and watched the stars. Captain Reed stood beside him. Aaron said, "People are like ships, aren't they?" Reed raised an eyebrow. "How so?" Aaron said, "Some only move when life is easy. Some only move when pushed. But the strong ones, they keep going no matter how the wind hits them." Reed nodded. "That's it. That's the heart of it." Aaron looked at the sails. Full and proud against the dark sky. "By and large," he whispered. And Reed smiled again, soft and knowing. A good way to live. Time passed. The seas changed. The world changed. But the phrase stayed. It slipped into the language. It left the ships and climbed onto land. Now we say it when something is mostly true, or when life goes well enough overall. But it once meant strength. Balance. The skill to face what pushes you and what lifts you. The courage to move through both. Maybe you've lived a bit of that too. Maybe you've had seasons when the wind hit you hard. Maybe you've also had days when life carried you forward with ease. And maybe you didn't always know which way to turn. But by and large, you kept going. By and large, you held steady. By and large, you're still here. and that makes you stronger than you think.
作为一个母语非英语的人，能把故事听完，你的进步太大了。感谢你收看这个节目。如果你觉得这个节目对你有帮助，请给我一个点赞，或者留下评论，这对我很重要。我们下个视频见。